Oil changes are a simple job, apparently. So, here is the sump bung. Now, to undo it, now these are known for being quite delicate on the threads. So, I always use a spanner. And the reason they're delicate is because you've got a steel bolt going into an aluminium body. And they corrode. So hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Just give it a tap. He says, give it a tap. So, gentle tap. There you go. Break the seal. Just gentle. Now, this will come undone by hand. I can already... This is the messy bit. And there we go. Now, just a quick point. Go around the other side a minute. So, while that's draining, lots of people say you should warm the engine up. Lots of other people say what you're doing is just putting dirty oil around the engine. So, I leave that choice up to you. Personally, I think if the engine's cold and the oil's already at the bottom of the engine, why spread it around a bit more? So you can see it draining nicely there. Gonna let that drain for a couple of minutes, and then we're gonna leave that open when we take the air filter off. The air filter? Don't go pouring oil in the air filter, and when we take the oil filter out. So just going to let that drain. This is the patient bit, guys. Doesn't take a lot. That screw was a pain, but it hasn't stopped me doing the job. It's just highlighted that I need to get it out and put a new screw in. Lots of people replace screws with stainless steel or some kind of different screw, and they corrode. Even though stainless steel isn't meant to, they fur up and they jam, and it's a real pain in the bum. So you can see that draining nicely. Now, while that's draining, here's the sump bung, and here's the little crush washer. There it is. And true to its name, it gets crushed when you do the bolt up. So, the new ones. So here's the old one. You can see, there it is. And then here it is. The other thing to keep an eye on, guys, is make sure you've got a big enough drain channel for the oil. I did it once and it wasn't deep enough, and it filled up and overflowed, and I got in a bit of a quandary. Just a short tip there. So this is the original sump bung that came with the bike. I bought this one because it came with a washer. Some unknown reason I couldn't get the washers, and you can see the height difference or even length difference, and the original's got a magnet on it to catch any bits of swarf, so I'm going to put the original back on. Also, there's the thickness of that one, yeah, and look at the thickness of the new one. So you can see how much that gets crushed, and that makes a really good seal. So that's going back in. Beautiful. Like that. Yeah, cool. So now, going to unwrap the end of that. Put that back in the box. Don't generally unwrap things until I'm going to use them. Get rid of that old crush seal. Put your rubbish to one side. don't put them back where your new stuff is, because knowing my luck, chances are I'll put the new one, I'll put the old one back in, and you can imagine what a nightmare that would be. Right, so new crush washer, that's cool. New sump bung in the bits, old bits over here. Good. Okay. Now, let's have a look at how our oil is draining. This is why I got baby mats. They're brilliant. Yeah. So you can see, still a slight dribble. I'm going to really let that drain out. Just let that drip, drip, drip. Get as much oil out as we can. You don't want to really mix too much old oil with too much new. Now, leave that spanner there. Baby mats are moving to here. And then we are also gonna move this to here. Now this is slightly more awkward than I'm used to because of that bolt. Now what can we see here? Nothing. What can we see here? Nothing. Alright, so how can I hold that up? What can hold that up for me? What I want to do, guys, is I want to hold this like this, and then I want to get my hand in, and I'm going to... these should only be hand tight. That's slightly harder than hand tight, so we have something that can help, hopefully. Never, ever, ever put a screwdriver through a filter to undo it, because the chances are the filter will break and you'll end up with a broken filter or world of pain. So this goes round the filter, this hooks in like so, then it grabs the filter and it twists it without damaging the filter. I don't know if that's a good explanation, but that's all I've got. So what makes it awkward now is I don't want that to go dripping in the oil, but it doesn't look like I've got much choice. So I think I'm going to move that a minute, drop that down, and what we're going to do is, you see, you don't get dirty working on bikes. What can we see there? Sorry guys, I'm trying to get good angles for you to see what I'm doing, but this belly pan has made it very difficult. Right, so the oil's still draining, I'm just going to let that drip. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to feed this around somehow. It's no good having slightly bigger hands, is it? If you're a mechanic, big hands, I should imagine, are a massive disadvantage. Can you see that going around there? Right, that hooks in. Cool. And then that hooks in there. Says he. Right. Okay. That's cool. Now, and that will... There you go, that's just twisted it off. I don't know if that came out on camera, but dropped the camera in the oil. I'm afraid the angles with this belly pan is so difficult that it's hard to show. So I'm trying my best here, guys. beard in my oil. Just got beard in my oil. Just got oil in my beard. Can you believe that? Lucky I need a shower. It's that time of week again. Right, so we're gonna do something. Why is that lodged in there? Okay. What's going on here? Obviously, doing this in the back garden as well, you do not want to get oil dripping everywhere, do you? Now, messy time, because everything's going to fall into this, isn't it? So, unfortunately, I haven't got a way around that today, so that's what it's going to have to be. Right, it's still tight, and I've got oil on my gloves now. Out comes the filter. I'm going to let that drain a little bit. I don't want to get too much oil in the belly pan if I can avoid it. Hopefully you can see oil draining out. So it just kind of highlights, doesn't it, how the smallest of things like a screw can make your life a little bit difficult. Hopefully you can see that oil coming out again. Let's move that way. Oh, yeah, that's cool. Okay, keep unscrewing. Keep unscrewing, keep unscrewing. Ah, stop it. Just going to keep doing that. And we're out. Oh, amazing. Hardly any. And hopefully you can see how much oil is coming out the filter. Good. Okay, so feeling the oil, I'm just going to plonk that in there. And then I'm going to put that back up there. Come on, stay. That really needs tying down, doesn't it? Unfortunately, guys, when you do work on your bike, you notice an awful lot of things that need doing. See, now, you can see that the rate of oil coming out here is increased because I've took the filter out and it's letting air through. There's no suction with the filter, so that's why you leave the sump bung out, is to just let it drain a little bit more. Also, the oil actually feels a little bit thin, but not that bad. And also, there's no bits in it. That is the important bit as well. There's no metal bits at all. I can't feel any grinding. I can't feel any kind of swarf. So hopefully that means wear and tear on the engine is pretty good. So, I'm going to just pause the video there. Going to make a coffee while that all drains out. And then we'll put it all back together. Cool.